friends, good evening, and this is your host Ankit Khanel joining you from Delhi, India, and we have Kimberly Calhoun joining us from Raleigh, North Carolina. Good morning, Kim. Good morning to the world, and welcome to IBM TV Spiritual Saturday. And as usual, Spiritual Saturday is one of the best followed shows on IBM TV. People would like to join us and learn the spiritual powers. And if we connect spirituality with everything, it can be connected because everyone is having different spiritual exercising power and things what they wanted to do, be it from hugging a tree or be it having a cup of coffee alone and things like that. So I think that's amazing. What do you think, Kim?
I think it's beautiful. It's helped me reconnect spiritually, which is very important in this time. Like you're saying, globally, we need to learn how to do this. And this is one of my favorite days. As you know, I might have to miss other days, but this is one day I do not like to miss. So we've got a beautiful cast today waiting for us.
But before that, I would like to share our viewers that what is the lineup for the day. So let me play the video.
Absolutely. Let's.
So that's the lineup for the day on Spiritual Saturday, and after that, we also have to play our White House report by Bill Treasavant. So here we go.
Okay.
I'm Bill Treasavant with IBM TV, International Broadcast Media, on special assignment here from Hogwarts School, the school made famous by Harry Potter. I have this rare moment and opportunity to wear the Sorting Hat to see if there's any insight into the election that the Sorting Hat might provide us. Right now, this one-of-a-kind experiment is ready to go. Hat, will you tell us who will win the election? Gryffindor! There you have it. From Hogwarts School, a prediction for the presidential election. It's Gryffindor. I'm Bill Treasavant. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Thank you.
Wow, from around the world, he just made me smile. You know what? I'll take Gryffindor.
So let's invite our White House correspondent, Bill Treasavant, and let's see what he wants to say about this. Hi, Bill. Good morning.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, Bill. That was beautiful. That definitely put a smile on my face. The Sorting Hat, that's one of my favorite parts of Harry Potter. So
that's right. So now I understand that one of our other esteemed guests will be coming on, and he might have a different house that he believes in. However, I thought that for Spiritual Saturday, we would get our spirits up first with a special report. So from Washington, actually from Hogwarts. I got to fly there first class on a broom. It was really nice.
Wow.
No mask needed.
No mask needed. I'm going to have to come see you. That sounds like my kind of place to hang out. So definitely Hogwarts has the place to be, but Gryffindor is apparently the next house administration. So we're good with that. What are some other good spiritual things that you could kind of share with us for today?
Well, I would say it's true in all major religions, of which there are many, and that's taking the time to be reflective and just taking time out. It's important for a couple of reasons. One, it's important for you to collect your thoughts, find your center, and then really go through what's important for you, and to be able to separate those things that you can't control, and you just got to let them go. So I oftentimes in the morning, I turn everything off and I just kind of am present to try to think through what I've got to do. And I find that That makes things easier. That and not taking things too seriously. I mean, there was a time when I did, and I can tell you what happened. I got lucky. My hair just went gray. My brother did not get lucky. He lost it, so he's bald, and I'm good. So.
All right, I love
To a
it.
worldwide audience, I say take a moment, take a deep breath, just be present, and then don't take things too seriously. And remember, Gryffindor wins the election.
There we go. I love it. You know,
And I
and
think we should invite our guests backstage, and then we'll take this conversation forward. We have Jimmy joining us from California. Hi, Jim. Good morning. What happened to Jim today?
Well,
Where's
let's ask him. Jim, what
Jim?
seems to be the issue?
Well, Gryffindor may win, but Slytherin will have the deep state.
And we have Willie Hill joining us from all the way from Australia. And hi, Willie. Good evening.
Hi.
Good night.
Hi guys, how you
Uh,
doing?
we're
All
doing
good, all
great.
good.
How's it going in Australia, Willie?
We're still in stage 4 lockdown, and yeah, a lot of people are starting to do crazy things, and the fines are getting really scary. One of the
Wow.
things I'm worried about now is the police have drones that have thermal imaging, so they can check if you're home or not, just flying overhead. So my question is, after COVID, does that cease also, or is that a permanent fixture of the police department?
I think that that's going to become the final fixture because that's been things that have been in the development phase, not just in Australia, but in other countries for quite some time. I know because I worked on some drone research with my invention. So it has been a long time coming, and I guess they were looking for a purpose to truly launch it. But that's a good point. I mean, we don't want to be monitored every brief second of our life. And I just kind of want to know, you know, like before the masks, a drone might be able to identify you, right? Facial recognitions and other footprints that we leave behind. But how are they going to identify people with masks? Oh, there are 5 masked people outside of their home right now, but we can't identify who they are. So how are they going to do that?
Well,
No
Kimberly,
idea.
I just want to say that, you know, the changes in our society are really rapid now. And because getting buzzed means something completely different now than it did back in my day. Getting buzzed by drones,
Right.
you know, it's like, it's scary.
I you know, I don't promote this, but a ball bat takes them down pretty fast. And so does a shotgun. And again, I don't promote that kind of attitude because I truly believe that if the drones are used properly, they're there to help us. Like one of the things we were doing was to use them for rescue missions in tight spots and for evacuation situations. So, you know, they're there for a reason, but they don't need to be abused, right?
And I can even see, you know, delivery of packages, you know, I'm a little, that's a real close to the line, but I can see that, you know, but monitoring civilians going about their business is over the line as far as I'm concerned.
you know, a lot of people don't know this, but you've been monitored for your whole life. And it's just a matter of when you cross the line. But this is what I tell people to not even that, the real telephone, they've monitored you. They could listen on every conversation everyone ever had. And every conversation has been recorded. I know because I helped build the systems. And my thing to people was just don't say anything you don't want anyone to know. But Ankit, you got something to say?
No, I just wanted to say that, I mean, we know about CCTVs and they all are cameras placed around, I mean, all the streets everywhere. And drone is something like same, I mean, and you don't know whether the CCTV having that kind of an AI capability to, I mean, to watch you or to maybe know what you are doing and all this stuff. So drone is something similar. And if government or if private company says that they are not monitoring you, you can't trust anyone because you know that, I mean, the technologies which is available to make sure that we can do it. And if suppose I have a private yard or a private building, and if someone enters my property, I wanted to capture everything basically, and that also enables me to capture the artificial intelligence and also face reading and all those stuff. So I don't know. There could be a debate, but we should have a strict policy which should be implemented because you can't stop that. Now it's possible.
You can't stop that. And I'm going to tell you something, that every phone has an open Bluetooth backdoor to it. A lot of people are not aware of. The government, of course, will have access to that. Hi, Tish. Yes, and Big Brother is always watching. Is drones taking it too far? It is if they're using them for the wrong reason. Okay. And again, there's a point in time where they can, if they're abusing their power of authority, the first intent, of course, the first intent is to bring quality of life, right? Mm-hmm. In use of any of this. But of course, people will take it too far. But a lot of people don't know that they've been able to read your text messages since day one. I remember when somebody was busted on campus one day, and they caught them stealing somebody's backpack. And they did so by CT, the cameras throughout the campus. They just played back where the backpack was, and it managed to catch who did it. But then the not so smart person, after they got busted, was texting their friend, "Hey, hide my pot under the bed." Da, da, da. And you're like, "Come on. Are you serious?"
Well,
so
what?
They accomplished.
Bust him for domestic terrorism. Don't bust him for his pot under his bed.
I know. But how stupid was that, right? Or just like, a couple of other things that I have seen that people do on the phone, though. It's like, seriously, don't do anything on your phone that you don't want anyone to know about.
Actually, there is an exception.
Okay.
If you have your attorney hold your pot, because that's attorney-client privilege. So just make sure you text your attorney, "Hide my pot in your upper right drawer. I'll be there for my appointment."
Everyone needs an attorney.
Bill, thank you for that insight.
I used to text J. Edgar Hoover how much I loved him and all that kind of stuff. And now the FBI's directors are changing so much. I don't even know who to tell them.
Right. So we have a really interesting question here, and it's called, "What is the purpose of government monitoring us?" And so I'm going to answer this. I'm going to defer to Bill and the rest of the panel. But one of the things is that when we have a huge terrorist attack, people go, "Why wasn't the government monitoring us better?" Right? So there's a purpose, but there's a crossover. There's that threshold of when has it gone too far, right? Or there is that question of why did they turn their head when something was going wrong? And so there is that balance. It is very, very difficult to work with, I know, because of my invention. When we're working with it and interfacing it with the police department, how far can we go? We work with judges. We talk to them. We talk to a lot of people. But people, they want protection, but they don't want to be monitored. And there's.
But who decides where that line is, Kimberly?
So judges generally, like the law enforcement, that from what I know of. But Bill, do you have any insight on this?
Well, at the 50,000 foot level, there is an ebb and flow. What'll happen is that with any new technology, because the rules are not set in stone,
right,
though the proponents will push it as far as they can, and then you will have the counterbalance, the ACLU, personal privacy individuals, groups, and individuals who are saying this went too far. They take it to court, and then we hash out the new rules. Now, one of the criticisms is always that the law is always behind technology. So the capabilities of technology, and in this case, drones and monitoring and Willie and using the heat sensors, I'm really concerned about them using, the drones are fine, but heat sensors to find out where you are in your house, I think, Willie, is a little much. But it's always at that point when there's a tipping point, when somebody says, that's a little bit too much, and then they take the case. Or they file a suit, and then at that point, you just got to make up the law and draw from various other aspects and make an argument. But what we'll see is we just have to see what's going on, and generally there's a lag time. So, for example, and then I'll turn it over to the panel. When the U.S. government instituted or passed the Patriot Act in the wake of 9/11, we didn't realize that they were building the super collection centers out there in Colorado and all the other places. Those areas that you were referring to, Kim, with the super spy satellites and everything else. And even if we knew it, we didn't realize the extent to which it was being done until Snowden showed up and said, hey. And then we were like, oh my God. And then everybody, feverishly tried to catch up. So, and that's led to some changes and some modifications. And I think two things, though. I think, although in the civil society, yeah, we're catching up, and there will be some rules, Willie, that will be put into place through the law. But Kim, I tend to think, because perhaps I'm a bit of a skeptic, and Jim, I'm shocked that I'm going to say this, but I think they're still going to collect all of our data regardless and just tell us publicly that they're not. But don't mind me. I turn it over.
Well, Bill,
No, you're right.
I don't mind the heat sensors because I don't see my reflection in the mirror either, so they're not going to pick up anything on me.
House
You
of
know,
Slytherin.
Well, just,
No, I think what was
It's the loop.
instigated was we're in lockdown, so we're supposed to be home. So when they fly over and they do a count, like, okay, hypothetically, like, let's do a random address today. Random address, press, and it comes, okay, this address, let's go look at this address. Random address, okay, they're home. They're not home. They do it like a flyover once, twice, like after 2 or 3 flyovers and you're still not home. And then they'll ask the question, where are you? Because you're only allowed out of your house for 1 hour.
Okay, you see, Willie, on that point, and I'm not versed in the laws in Australia, but it seems to me that at least up here would be. I'd make the argument that is a form of search. Now, here in the United States, the government cannot search your house, your home, your personal property unless they have reasonable cause. And then when you, particularly with a house, and so. Them using means to see inside a structure without any probable cause seems to me to be a violation, at least, of the prohibition against unlawful search and seizure. And that's where I would make my argument. I don't know about you, Willie. How would you do it?
Yep. No, it's just that I can see the need to be home.
With the house. And so them using means to see inside the structure without any probable cause.
Okay.
well, we needed to hear that again because
It was worth repeating.
Prohibition against unlawful search and seizure. And that's where I would make my argument. I don't know about you, Willie. How would you do it?
Yep. No, it's just that I can see the need.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pick it up, Willie.
Okay.
That's where we left.
Willie, pick it up.
Okay, I can see the need for the government because we're only allowed to the house for 1 hour for exercise and for going to the shops. Outside of that, we need to be inside the house.
That's and I agree with Bill. One thing I would like them to add to it is that usually we're supposed to get a warrant, but just a notification that we are there's a probability cause to search your home or something like that. I think that needs to be instituted somewhere. The infrared, I'm not too thrilled with it, but I know that it has existed for actually quite some time. And they're just going to do it. And again, this is what I tell people, just don't be doing things you shouldn't be doing. But this reminds me of the movie The Fifth Element, where they contact people, right? Science fiction is coming true. This is why we're no longer inside. This is no longer science fiction. This is real.
Yeah, Dylan and Zach got to up their game because
Right. But here's the thing. In Fifth Element, I don't know if you remember, but they would ask people, are you home? Please identify yourself. So you would have an identification number. You would have to push the button, scan your face, so that they know it was you in that house, that you were not hiring somebody to replace you. And so are we getting to that point of being military? Yes, Ankit.
See, we all use a smartphone, and now smartphone also have the sensor so that you can open the lock. And when you are giving all the access to the providers, basically, they can use it at multiple levels. I mean, that's not a big issue. It just depends on what kind of policy and what kind of federal thing we should come up, and how we can make it more accessible, and how we can find those people who are taking it, because it's very easy. I mean, if suppose I lost my phone, I lost all my contacts. Apart from that, I will lost all my access as well, because my finger access and my eye access are all inside the phone. And then using technology, I mean, we can do multiple things. I mean, right now we are discussing about the technology called digital twins, where if I'm right now sitting on IBM TV, I can set up a Zoom meeting with someone else at the same point of time. I just have to send one of my digital avatar to join that meeting. That's about it.
Yeah.
So nothing is difficult. Nothing is so serious. Just that there's a policy should be driven. That's about it. And most of the people, they don't shut down their laptops or their mobile devices or their smart TVs. And when they don't do it, you are giving access to a lot of people outside the world to make use of that. They use the camera and they use a lot of things, and that's happened in the past as well. So you have to be careful and what to do, because I don't know about the laws and all those things. I think Bill needs to say something about that. Yes, Bill?
No, not about the laws. I was just going to say that I'm such a curmudgeon. I have a dumb TV.
You can't watch this channel on your dumb TV.
That's why I'm using my computer that's hackable.
Yes. Okay. But I was reminded, not that I've ever experienced this, but of a guard using his baton to rattle the cages as he walked by to wake up, make sure the prisoners were there and awake. It's there's a science fiction element to it, but there's also real life, and we've experienced this when government starts to take surveillance and justify it for whatever reason, but take it to a level where the citizen's privacy is no longer as valued as it once was. So, I think that there is a give and take here that we have to really have a rational conversation about at some point in time. And I don't know who's going to have that conversation and who's going to make that conversation take place.
Well, it seems to me, at least in Willie's circumstances right now, that it sounds to me a lot like house arrest without any kind of say-so from the citizens. And so it seems to me, at minimum, in a democracy, representative or direct, that at least your community would have at least had a referendum first to see whether a majority of people would agree voluntarily to this type of program, rather than the government just instituting it. Now, this may be a triggering event, so that in the future, when measures are taken by the Australian government, that individuals say, well, no, why don't we put it to a referendum? Because you can hold an emergency referendum. There's nothing to say that you have to wait. You can schedule, a plebiscite at any point in time, Willie. But right now, it sounds to me like you're under house arrest. Now, I frankly would get a whole bunch of those hand warmers. I mean, like a lot. And I'd stick them in a dummy. I'd warm them all up, and I'd sink them back in. But when they came, I'd be sleeping, and I'd be out running in the streets with my shotgun, looking for the drones, playing shoot. But now, see, and I think at that point, when the losses of the drones, and then they come and they say, Bill or Willie, why did you rob the bank? And I'd be like, because that's where the money is. I mean, I want to vote. I'd rather vote than shoot, Willie?
No, I can see. I remember, because one of the projects that I'm very interested in helping is first responder infrastructure. So every time while I'm driving, I kind of imagine myself, if I'm a first responder and I'm thinking of putting a manned drone to help get to the place faster, do the pickup from the place, and how to navigate, because there are a lot of tall trees and tall buildings. So I approached, at one of the tech shows, I approached CASA, the Civil Aviation Authority. So I asked the guy, okay, I'm interested in first responder space. And he said, that's a very fine issue, because people will be okay if you're rescuing somebody, flying over their backyard. But if just because you have the money, have the means to do so, and you fly over their backyard, don't be surprised if some of them pick up a shotgun and shoot you. So yeah, that was
Well,
a
that's why
crazy
I have
debate.
a big.
But obviously, a vote would be preferable first. Don't you think? A referendum, Willie?
Yes,
So,
totally true. Totally.
Yeah, I just think the citizens should have a voice somehow, and it shouldn't be an arbitrary decision by the government just because they have a reason.
right.
Wonderful. And I would like to welcome Lynn Shepard, one of our sponsors from Family Dollar Store. And good morning, Lynn. How are you
Morning,
doing?
Lynn.
Good morning, Bill. Good morning, Jim. Good morning, Willie. And of
Good
course,
morning, Lynn.
and my brother from another mother, Inkit. All right. For those of you who don't know, and I think everybody here on the show has heard, Inkit and I share a birthday. Same birthday. Yeah. So, whoops. Yeah. Do I have yeah, backwards. Anyway.
Wait, that away, right? Let that away.
Anyway, so shall we quickly talk about the dollar store? Because
Yeah.
all of a sudden my day got really sort of crammed up, and I apologize because I'm going to really miss it tomorrow. I won't be able to visit with you. I'm going to get a chance to see somebody I haven't seen in 60 years. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, I was about one when I saw him the last time.
Yeah.
We were actually in Boy Scouts together, and probably the last time I saw him was when I was 16. So if you can do addition, you can figure out how old I am.
I can do it.
Yeah, you can use yours, and Bill can use his too. But anyway, so the Family Dollar Store, or Family Dollar Store, because there actually is a brick and mortar store called Family Dollar Store. So we don't want to talk about it that way. We want to talk about our online dollar store, which is family.dollarstore.com. Now, you could go online and find it by typing in the URL family.dollarstore.com. But rather than doing that, we want you to go to IBM TV, click on the big round button, which is green. But if it's big and round, in case you're colorblind, you know that over 12% of the people, men, are colorblind. My father was, and never understood how he got a driver's license, but that's he's not around, unfortunately, for me to ask him. So we make it very simple for you. And why are we here? Because we're here to support Money Masters PBS, which is the owner of IBM TV. Money Masters PBS is a not-for-profit that has a mission of reducing the gap between poverty and financial sustainability by providing financial education, and that results in financial fitness. So when you are buying at our dollar store, our family's dollar store, family.dollarstore.com, or just the big round button on IBM TV, when you're buying from us, you're supporting Money Masters PBS and its mission. And remember, for financial fitness, there are 5 aspects. Number 1, you need to save money, and that you do on the dollar store, on our online dollar store, because we have lots of quality items, and they're not cheap items, they're quality items from quality manufacturers: Johnson & Johnson, Dove, Irish Spring, Dial, Sesame Place, Fisher Price. I mean, I could keep naming things, but I won't, because there are 4,300 items, and my brain capacity can only get to around 10. No, where is Mark Lee when we need him? Because Mark made an admission yesterday. I don't know whether you heard it. I thought he had been through 4,100 and about 20 items. No, he's only been through about 2,500 items. So what we need Mark to do is to keep plowing ahead. I think, Ankit, maybe you ought to put his show on hold so that he can spend time on the dollar store, getting to know all, because we need to do a special store where he can go through all of them. But look at this. Ah, Bill, thank goodness you have it too. Okay.
I did.
Yeah.
I've been listening, Lynn. I've been listening.
Okay. Now, Bill, here's what we need you to do. But people don't know about these masks. And we have masks. These masks, we have 50 of them for $25. And as Jim knows, that's 50 cents a mask. Okay. But what you need to do when Jim is on the show, turn your mask backwards, because then you're protecting yourself. The blue, when it's out, is protecting other people. So what we need is Jim to be here wearing his mask perpetually while he's on the show, because we don't want any kind of computer viruses to happen while Jim is on the show. So I'm wearing mine inside out, just in case. Okay. But now I do need Jim's help. Okay. Jim's help is this. We have hang on, Jim, don't jump the gun yet. So we have a gift token program. What's a gift token? Well, it's just like a gift card. And every time you shop, you get additional tokens added to your account. It's a rewards program. But when you sign up to become a customer, we're giving you $5 worth of gift tokens right away to start. So let's suppose you go on. Oh, and delivery is free for orders of $25 and over. So if you just want to buy the masks, and we encourage you to buy a lot more, because we do have quality items that are less expensive, because now you're saving money, and we'll get to the 5 aspects. But when you buy the masks, okay, for $25, you apply your gift tokens. It's now $20. You get free delivery. And Jim, we'll give you 5 minutes to figure it out. But how much is that mask?
40 cents.
40 cents? Okay, great. But between now and Monday night, okay, Pacific time, which is 3 a.m. Eastern time, if people sign up, we're going to give them an additional $5 worth of, so Bill's got it right, $10 worth of gift tokens. Okay. So how can you not? 30 cents. Jim is ahead of me. Okay. So Jim is really on top of his game today. But we know that Jim is going to get on to Sasha's program, which is Chess Masters program. And Sasha that's at 3 o'clock, and we want everybody to go on and follow Sasha. But here's the thing. Jim always has pain when he plays Sasha. So as Kimberly likes to say, if you know you're going to have pain, put a pain patch on first. We have CBD patches, which we have for pain. They work great on back pain, okay? Or as I have, and I'm not going to do it today because it's getting ready to rain, but when I cut the lawn and use my weed whacker, I end up with tendonitis. So I always put my patches on ahead of time. But Jim puts it on before he even thinks about playing Sasha, because of the pain that he knows he's going to have. Now, if you are a chess player, I advise you to use it also on your arm, because moving those chess pieces is really, it can be very stressful on your arm. Okay. Now, let's go back to the 5 aspects, because we want to talk about those. Okay. Number 1, save money. When you save money, you can pay for the things that you need to pay for, which are your necessities. But number 3, if you save properly, you're going to have additional money to invest. And also, you're going to have money to pay for taxes. And at the end of the day, you're still going to have extra money, because you're going to be able to pay forward and support your favorite mission. With our online dollar store, if you just shop at our online dollar store, you do, number 1, and number 5 at the same time, because you save money and you support Money Masters PBS. So what can be better than that? But look, even if you're a little skeptical about all of that, we want you to come join the club. And here we are. And this is the Minion Napkin Club. It's because we want everybody to support the Minion Napkin Club. Kimberly started this club about 2 months ago, maybe it was 3 months ago, and we just want everybody to be part of the club. Now, in all seriousness aside, okay, we want everybody to know that we have fun here on IBM TV. Oh, I did forget, Bill. Where are you when I need you? Because you're now my big reminder.
Yes.
We can only deliver in the United States. We can't deliver outside to any foreign countries, unfortunately, right now. So, for instance, Canada, my daughter lives in Toronto, and if Sasha were on here, he would, or Julian, they would both tell you that Border Patrol is tough. Okay, India is too expensive. Australia is too expensive. But we are working on getting some stores set up, which Ankit, you and I need to talk about, and we will. Ooh, made a mistake. We can deliver to one foreign country. Okay, does anybody know what that one is? It's the Socialist Republic of Northern California.
Jim, you're in luck. Jim, you are in luck. Okay.
So, and by the way, I didn't coin that. That was Nick. Nick did that about 2 months ago. I'm just.
You know, Lynn, some things just stick because they are so right and they fit the person.
They fit. Yeah.
And there's Jim.
When the shoe fits, wear it. Right?
That's
And
right.
I just want to tell people, and I didn't get to listen all the way through, but I use some of the products that are on the Family Dollar store. You know, some of them cost a lot of money. Like at Amazon, they would cost you around $60, and you have to pay for shipping. But on the online Family Dollar store, they're $2. Same package, same name brand, everything. And it's free shipping if you can fill up your cart with $25 worth of items, which, you know, you can do if you go to the dollar store. Anyone I talk to goes, oh, yeah, that's, you know, easy to do because there's enough essentials to do that with. Mm-hmm. But I just find, and another item there that I like so very well, exact same content, everything I buy over the counter for $25, and it's $2 at the dollar store. I didn't have to drive to the counter to get it. You know, it's about a 30-minute drive to the store. You know, then you spend time at the store. So time is money to me, very, very much so. But one of the things that I do want to tell people is that when you are shopping at the dollar store, you are also investing. You're investing back in yourself. And the reason is that the more you shop, the more dollar points you earn. And that's money that you can go put back into spending. So there are 3 things that you're achieving in our 5. And so I just, you know, thank you for those of you who are shopping at the online dollar store. We are going to be putting this to good use with a lot of great more shows. We've been asked to air the World Peace Day, which is very, very important to us. And we're very honored that that's been given to us as a duty. It's not even a duty, it's a pleasure. But
and I think, Kim, we should run our peace video before we start discussing about the peace.
Absolutely.
I'm Bill Tresemont with IBM TV. On September 21st, 2020, IBM TV, along with our partners, will be celebrating World Peace Day. For me, this is a day of reflection, outreach, and mutual support as we think of and act in ways that we can build a better tomorrow for everyone who lives on this planet. So, I ask that you join us in celebrating World Peace Day. Remember, September 21st, 2020. Join us here on IBM TV. I'm Bill Tresemont.
Wow.
I did have one other thing, and by the way, whoever you better pay that talent top dollar.
Okay. I agree. Get some dollar points too.
I have to interject.
One more thing, Jim.
Okay.
And it's actually really important, and it's a public service announcement. And Lynn, because I was remembering the big items, so don't think that I fell down on my item. At the Family Dollar store, there are a number of items, including food items and things of that nature. Now, here in the United States, while a number of our neighbors are suffering with the hurricanes and the other disasters, particularly down in Louisiana, where my understanding the power is out and will be out for any number of days because the devastation is so massive. But it's also our friends in Iowa, when the prior hurricane derecho went through and destroyed a number of their crops. So, Lynn, if you could tell us how our viewers might be able to help them through the Family Dollar store.
Well, what they can do, and we do, we obviously are not going to have any perishables on the store because shipping might take anywhere from 3 to 5 days. But if people know, if you know somebody in Iowa in an area that was not hit, or you know somebody not far from Lake Charles, because you don't want to ship to Lake Charles, because the officials down there are asking people to stay away and not. They have lots of cleanup to do. Power is out, all sorts of issues. But we can ship there, Bill, and that's a very good point. So find somebody that you know down there, or find some not-for-profit, and ship to them, because you can ship to a different address. Yes, we ship right to your home, but we can ship to a different address. All you do when you put the items in your cart and just simply pick an address and ship it. And we do have lots of good dry food, noodles and stuff, things that if we'd had the store when one grandson was in college, we'd have sent him, and we're going to send to our other grandson. Because he's going back to UNC Charlotte. Actually, I think next Monday, I think he's leaving. So we have all these dry food items that we can ship. And Bill, that's a fantastic point to make. Just find a not-for-profit in those areas. Now, what are you doing? You're doing three things.
That's right.
You're saving money. You're supporting Money Masters PBS, but you're also helping people who are in need by shipping to a not-for-profit in those areas. So, Bill, you know how much I appreciate you, and because you really bring up some smart things. I wish Jim were as smart, but unfortunately, keep going, Bill. You were going to.
No, Jim is smart because Jim actually wrote a book. Jim has that book. We'll get to that in a second. Jim. Chess for Dummies. But Lynn, I also wanted to point out that it's you obviously made the important point about food items, but it may also be other basic things. And of course, Family Dollar store has any number of items, the basic needs that you're going to need, from shampoos and things that we see here to soap. And remember, there are approximately how many items on the site, Jim?
4,200.
43 at least.
43.
I think we added more. I don't know the total number. And when I was so disappointed to find out that Mark hadn't gotten to 4,120, I stopped counting myself because he's got too much to go. But he'll get there.
Right.
Anyway.
Right. But it's important. And Lynn, I know that your company is socially aware and committed to the larger community, which is why you're a sponsor here with IBM TV. But Lynn, as you know, all of these items are value items, they're top quality items. And in times of need, Family Dollar store is the go-to place to get real value for your money to help your neighbor in the times of need. And 2020 has been rough enough. If we make it a little easier for others.
It has, and I really appreciate you, Bill. You know that, and you're right on point, because Oh, well, Jim wants to say something. Go ahead, Jim.
Thank you, Lynn. Because I do want to mention that you can get quality products at a less expensive price. But that's a capitalist way of looking at it. A socialist way of looking at it is you talked about the gift tokens, which you can share with others, but you compared them to gift cards. And I wanted to make my personal take on that, which is gift cards I lose. I put them in my pocket. I wash them. I don't hold on to them. I don't lose the gift tokens, which I can share. And that's a socialist perspective.
Well, and that is perfectly well said. And I just want people to know that, you can send a gift card, or gift tokens to people, or you can send them a box of supplies. There's, all kinds of essentials. When something like this happens, people, they need toothbrushes, toothpaste, soaps, shampoos. All of this exists in here. They're going to need more masks in these situations. And I'm going to tell people, I kind of got involved a little bit in helping people connect distribution for PPE equipment for in the beginning of COVID, just to help. And this price is better than some of the warehouse prices.
Absolutely.
So don't think that they're really doing us a service by allowing us the opportunity to shop online for very, very discounted prices of very good quality items. And, I was, ultimately shocked when I got my napkins and they were good quality napkins. And I know that sounds stupid, but because there's more important things in life, but I like good quality napkins. And, I hate those cheap. I do. I'm got my pet peeves. But look at this. There's hardware. There's battery operated flashlights, lamps that I was trying to show people that you can go get for very affordable prices.
And
batteries.
Kim, I see a thing that says camping. Can you click on that? Because some people are without home right now, and so it's important that
we need hammocks, Lynn.
We need.
Oh yeah, we need hammocks. Where do you see? There we go. There we go. At the bottom. Let's take a look at what's on the camping.
That was a shout out to Mark.
Fire starter tool. We always need that. Emergency blankets. These are very, very important in climate situations as well. But again, you'll be able to search on here and find many, many numerous things that you could use. One of the things I've liked about dollar stores, they step up to the plate in time of needs, and they'll change up what's in their stuff, like masks. They didn't have masks in the beginning, but they got them. They were the first to get a big stock of toilet paper back when you couldn't get toilet paper at the grocery store. So, the dollar store has been really good about stepping up to the plate and putting in there items that we socially need, during the current crisis and situations. So it's all about, one thing I like about them is all about giving, right? And I think the more we give, we just keep giving forward. That just keeps moving forward and around. And I want to thank the dollar store for everything that they've been doing, not just giving to us, but also coming on the show and sharing with us their stories, what's going on in their part of the world. I mean, all of this takes time, and they take time out of their day to do these things as well. So thank you, Lynn.
And also, I have to say that on my last visit to the dollar store, I got these CBD gummies, which are tasty and packed with vitamins. And we know from the COVID, the prevention is better than the cure. So it boosts your immune system. And this is my latest acquisition from the dollar store, and I'm very grateful for the dollar store.
Are they good, Jim?
And they are tasty. They're like gummies, like you can buy them as candy. These are not just candy. These are packed with vitamins, CBD. Vegetarian, by the way, vegan.
You know what I normally do with gummy bears? I shouldn't tell anybody, but I soak them in vodka. or rum. And my gummy bears get
Don't do this at home, kids. She's a professional.
coconut rum, right? And they swell up. No,
I will say I need to run because I've got to be out of here in 2 to 3 minutes. But I'm going to say a couple of things. Number one, the gummy bears, as tasty as they may be, and I'm going to try them. By the way, I haven't ordered them yet. But the gummy bears, Kimberly, aren't quite as tasty as dark chocolate Snickers. Now, I love dark chocolate Snickers, and we don't have those on the site. Maybe sometime we can.
But they aren't vegan.
Now
These are vegan.
Well, they are vegan. And as much as I've loved getting to know Bill, I do have one criticism. And that is,
I do too. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
well, I don't want to hear your criticism. But mine is he has a Buffalo Bills helmet back there.
He's not taking it down.
And
I've asked
he's
him.
not taking it down. And why is it not an Eagles helmet?
Lynn, I will work on that. That's a tough one for me because look. It's real simple. It's an easy way to remember. My name is Bill, and I'm from Buffalo. Buffalo Bill.
You
Yeah,
are from Buffalo? Are you originally from Buffalo?
Well, I was born in D.C., but my values come from the slight Midwest, and that's Buffalo, New York, on the shores of Lake Erie. A beautiful town, and I love it.
There you go. How? Wow. Yeah.
You summer there.
no, actually, I winter there for my exercise, which is why I do the paint patches when I shovel.
there you go. He shovels his
You whack weeds, he shovels.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, but I see Bill has the Bible, and God bless. I love it. And I really appreciate that. I have to run because I got to go to another Zoom meeting.
Not worthy.
Anyway, happy Saturday. And as I said, I won't see you tomorrow, but I will see you on Monday. Hopefully I'll like the guy that I see. Since I haven't seen him in 60 years, I hope I'll like him as much as I did 60 years ago. So
who is this?
it's going to Ocean City, New Jersey, which, by the way, is interesting how small the world is. David K. Johnson happens to have a place in Ocean City, New Jersey. We have a good friend who lost her husband 12 years ago to cancer. And she started dating somebody she knew in high school. And I happened to have been in Boy Scouts with him when I was when I was growing up. And I haven't seen him literally. He now lives in Hamilton, Ontario, not far from Buffalo, New York. And so he came down last week to visit our friend Pat. And I haven't seen Norm in 60 years. So we're getting in the car, taking the day, going down to Ocean City, New Jersey. Maybe we'll even bump into David K. while we're there. Who knows?
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I hope he recognizes you, Lynn, because since you were one at the time, you won't recognize him.
Yeah, that's true.
But Lynn, what you can do is, you can watch IBM TV while you are not on live on IBM TV, and try to share some comments while watching.
Yeah,
We can do that if we're not going out to brunch, which we may do while we're there. But anyway, so
Okay.
have a great day.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you for everything.
We'll see you Monday.
Be safe. Be safe. Wow, it's always fun to talk about what's going on the Family Dollar Store, and Lynn is so much fun. But you just can't go wrong shopping there. I was shopping at the brick and mortar dollar store for years. Now I shop online. Saves time, saves money. So, and they got this, such good quality items that, we could use. And again, if there's somebody that's struggling, or if an elderly person or somebody in prison who could use some of these items, go ahead and order them and send them, or send them a gift token and let them order their own. Or you could put together, like for baby showers, you could put together a box of really cool baby items for $25 and ship it for free. I mean, And so there's no reason why, people can't send items to each other in this day and time. We might not be able to get together just yet, but we can still think about each other and share gifts. Anyway, we were on an interesting topic, and Trish was texting us because wow, some of the things we were talking about are interesting. And my go-to for almost everything is what? The National Geographic.
Right.
So, and so one of the things in here, one of their big bold comments, and of course it's talking about artificial intelligence and robots, but this isn't science fiction anymore. And I feel this way about our pandemic. We've seen, to me, zombie movies, pandemic type movies. This isn't science fiction anymore. We're actually living so we need to be very serious and conscious about this. But another thing that they were talking about, where we're talking about the drones and everything, is, we program robots to do a lot of defined tasks very well for us. We just didn't program them to have common sense or empathy. But then again, I always say the computers that we design are only as smart as the humans, and a lot of humans don't have common sense either. So, we can't expect robots and drones and all of these things and technology that we're using to do our job better than us if we didn't program them to be us, and we didn't. So we have to be careful of how we use this technology, why we use it. But like Bill said, Bill made a very, very profound statement. We're collecting all that data, and it will be used. So and data is the most valuable, more valuable than gold today. Data is the most valuable intellectual property that exists today. And let's just hope that they put it to good use, that they don't abuse their powers with it, and they do good with it as it was designed to be used. But that's where I kind of wanted to go. And I know this is spiritual day, even though we're talking about all of these weirdness things that are going on. It's these weirdness things that kind of drive our spirit down. And we don't have Coach Kumar on today to kind of guide us.
Not yet.
She'll be joining us soon. She needs to visit the doctor, so maybe she'll join us soon. But Dr. Saggu will be joining us in a couple of minutes to do a talk to Dr. Saggu. So we are waiting for Dr. Saggu. But in the meantime, I think I wanted to know that, we discussed about zombies and we discussed about technology. But can we build some kind of a spiritual technology?
Can we build
That's a really good question.
A spiritual technology.
a spiritual technology?
Yeah.
We've yet to be able to build what is known as empathy in artificial intelligence. Can it be spiritual? Technology can become defined whatever you define the thresholds, and then it can grow. So yeah,
So what
I see.
I'm saying is that it's not just about technology, but it's kind of an ecosystem what I'm talking about, where a person will visit and then he will get all those gadgets and all those infrastructure which will help them to be spiritual, or maybe gain some spiritual power, something like that. Because
Well, we do have the technology in photographs where you can photograph someone's aura. So,
Do we really? I didn't know that.
yes,
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if I can show it to you, but I have had mine done, and and it depends on the day of the week and whenever your aura can change. But so whenever you get your aura taken by this photographic technique, it's just how you are that day. So that's one thing. But the idea of technology and spirituality is interesting because we can't even technologically figure out what gravity is, because we can jump up and we come down. That's gravity, but that's the effect of gravity. We can't see gravity. We think it's gravitational waves. So there are what I think of as spiritual waves too, but we're far from being able to detect them, let alone measure them. So this is way in the future. If we ever can detect gravity, I'd be impressed. And if we can detect spiritual waves as well, because we know they exist by the effect, just as we know gravity exists by the effect. As you come into the presence of a spiritual person and you feel their spirituality. I can, and I know other people can. So this does in fact exist, but we cannot measure it. We cannot detect it, let alone measure it. Go ahead,
Tim,
Ankit.
you know, whatever you said, that we all agree with that. But when you, whenever you reach out closer to equator, the science have completely changed because there is no gravity there, and their science is different from what we study in the general thing. I would like to show one of the videos about equator, and we can discuss more about that. But something we should discuss more about it. That what is gravity that you said? We believe that it's gravity, but we still don't know.
Wow.
That's interesting. You know, everything that we define in science is going to be redefined later, right? It's just definitions made by humans explaining what something is. The only thing that hasn't really changed much in our magnitude of many thousands of years is math, you know, numbers and math. But, you know, science itself, I mean, you know, I look at our planets, right? Pluto. One day it was a planet, next day it's not. Now it is. I mean, we keep redefining. The Earth was flat, now it's round. Now people say it's really flat, even though we know it's a big round marble in the sky. So I think you're always going to have people arguing the definition of what science is.
Even mathematics has changed, Kimberly. For the
Yes.
most of the centuries, we did not have the number zero, and so the Arabic nations or cultures defined zero, and that was passed into the West. So we counted the year one. We didn't have a year zero when we go from before the Common Era to the Common Era. We didn't go from 0 to 1. We went to 1. So we didn't even have the concept of zero. So even mathematics has changed. But if you go back into the history of science, Bill, go ahead.
No, I'm listening, Jim, and then I'll pick up when you're done.
Okay, because my sense of the science of history is in the late 19th century, people had thought they had discovered everything there was to discover. The Maxwell theories of electromagnetic reactions was the last hurdle. They thought they had solved everything. And Freud in Vienna in the late 19th century thought he had understood the human mind. So everybody was pretty calmly thinking that they pretty much discovered everything. And then Einstein came along and blew up all the traditional thinking about mathematics and science. And other psychoanalysis people came along and kind of blew up what Freud had thought. So this constantly happens throughout our history, where we think we know everything, and then we know, oh, we only know a little. And we have to start over again until we again think we know everything. And like this COVID is a perfect example where we think we know something, and then 2 months later we go, oh, but we didn't know what we were talking about then. And 2 months after that, oh, we were wrong about that too. So this is what the human experience is all about, learning and adapting.
And I think
I'd like to welcome Sharif on our show today, Saturday. Hi, Sharif. Good evening. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm fine. How are you?
we're doing great. Wow, I like
How
the haircut.
Yeah, you're rocking it now.
And Sharif, how was the show today?
Yeah, that's
Ankit basically was our panelist for today's session. So I think Ankit can give us some good feedback.
No,
on
you
that.
should do it. I mean, it's yours, so you should brief all the viewers and all the panelists.
Okay. No, interesting thing is that, like example, what my objective is to understand the deeper things of the economy. Like I'm just sharing my personal experience. Like, let's say I was in Bangladesh, but first for my knowledge and exploration, I go to Oxford University. So that time my different perception I gain, and side by side I saw that, let's say, first world has their own perception, own cultures and other things. So that time I understand that, example, we have some cultural gap still, we have some understanding gap, we have some analytical gap still we have. That is the fact. Example, South Asia, even the first world, and everyone has some gap. So how do we can minimize it? Let's say for study purpose, for development purpose, we we go and we visit let's say different Ivy League university or different important university. So even my perception is that even when I was in Bangladesh, let's say United Group and Cambrian Education Group, I work for them. I also invite different professors. I arrange Asia Debate Academy, you can check. Even different students, different talent people from Ivy League university, I invite them. Okay, let's join in our economy and try to explore our economy and our cultures, let's say for 2 months. So by this way, what happened, like example, we can understand each other. We can develop our knowledge and everything. What we see that IBM has same kind of perception. They are trying to diversify different knowledge and cultures and other things. So my objective is that example, from the developing nations, it has their own culture, it has its own inner strategy and other things. Let's say we are always talking about India and Pakistan problem, but we never understand that example India and Pakistan has many similarities. South Asian economy has many interesting things. All of them are not poor. Many people think, oh, Bangladesh, it's mean poor. Oh, this Nepal, okay, it's mean that. Things are completely different. Inner strategy, inner culture, completely different. So issue is that the more we do scientific dialogue, the more we do that today we find that SAARC is not a very successful model. So what's the alternative model we can think? So we already discussed that, okay, besides SAARC, there is some other BIMSTEC and some other alternative. So by this way, we can create more sustainable economy. We can create more like collaborative economy. We do not need power. We need more collaboration. We do not need hate too much. We need to more love for each other. So economy is something like that. We have to be more focused on that, and we have to be more collaborative, especially the COVID-19 situation. By this way, I think we understand better culture, better humanity, and we can build a better economy. This is my objective. I don't know how much I can be successful, but I think in that way. Definitely, we have to minimize gap, and we have to understand the economy properly.
Well, I guess, do you think that, because what you're kind of describing, Sharif, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that it's more of a holistic approach, both I guess, in your view, with regard to economics and development, and part of that is spiritual, because it comes from like your mindset.
Exactly. Yes. Mindset, and as well as something I just want to share. Let's say in my country, let's say 2 years before, I go and I try to develop waste management system. Okay, waste management system with lot of AI integrations and other things. I'm just sharing my views. So when I go and I do my feasibility study, let's say in Chittagong is a different city. So we think that we can build up everything automated. We can build up everything will be scientific, and many good feasibility study we have. But when we reach Chittagongs and I go to the root level, that where is the waste and other people's, I am trying to finishing the feasibility study, I find that if I introduce this waste management system, there are 3,000 family, they will lose their job. 3,000 people, not only 3,000 family. So it's a big political decision. Even the political people come, they said that suddenly we cannot sack these 3,000 people. It will be big political burden. And it's not only AI, but example, many times even I'm trying to discuss with the first world, they say, okay, AI, artificial intelligence, big things, but economic culture is completely different. There are different demand. I cannot send my people in the wrong place. I have to give them a comfort zone. I have to give them proper economic solution. So in that situation, I have to change. And fact is that I do not execute it. I do not execute with the foreign company. I try to figure out these things with better policy and better outcome. And definitely I will explore these things in future, because still I'm working on that. But things are like that. Example, don't take it otherwise that I'm not trying to. Yes. technology has very valuable thing. That let's say I see that mobile phone technology, it has very good contribution in economy. Example, bKash is a mobile money transferring system. It has very good economical transformations and value. On the other hand, let's say we are talking about driverless car. I'm very honest with you, I do not find that it has a good future, at least in Bangladesh, or at least right the way in India. Let's say we are talking about that AI related manufacturing. Okay, I do not believe that it will be 100% implemented or executed. So this is the reality. So example, the more we learn, example, we only do not learn from the first world. First world also has to learn the real things, real economy, different things. Like example, this kind of country has more microeconomics. Microeconomics is more transparent and more valuable for them. Let's say Malaysia has Islamic finance. Islamic finance is more valuable, more important. So we have to do deeper research. Why I'll always say research is important. Research is not only for the first world. Research is more important for Malaysia, for Bangladesh, for India, for Pakistan, for Nepal, Bhutan, everyone. They need research, because when they go big step by step, they have to survive. They have to know how to run the big things. Economy is very interesting, and I find that this kind of developing economy has very good economical point of view. Let's say developed nations, if you invest $100, you do not like think that I will get $100 return. But in the developing country, example, country like Malaysia or country like India or Bangladesh, you can think that, okay, I will get a very good return. Okay, very good return, very good profit. So, but example, yes, this kind of developing nation has a different kind of risk factor. So why we have to do research?
So I think Sharif, to understand all those things, we should follow Sharif School of Economics on Saturday mornings to discuss more details about economics around the world and how we can learn from Sharif and from the world. Following the show, I would like to welcome Dr. Saggu on the show today, and we have Mark Lee also joining us from North Carolina. And Kim, it's time to introduce everyone, and then we'll start the talk show.
Well, welcome to IBM.TV, everyone, where we are global news stories and also information and education, as well as just inspiring a healthier quality of life. I am your host, Kimberly Calhoun. Next to me, I have Ankit, who is also your producer and host, all the way from India. And then, of course, we have Sharif from School of Economics on Saturday mornings. Welcome, Sharif, all the way from Malaysia. Below, we have Mark, all the way from Raleigh, Durham. And Mark has the only radio talk show on TV. And then we have, of course, from the Socialist Republic of California, our wonderful Jim Eade, who wrote the book, Chess Books for Dummies. But you know what? You don't have to be a dummy to read it. And then, of course, we have our wonderful, and just, Bill is our Washington correspondent, but he's also just got this great, wonderful humor and spirit that is inspiring us. So he is just not limited to being our Washington correspondent and White House correspondent. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then now, of course, it's Dr. Sagu's hour, and I haven't seen Dr. Sagu in a while, and I definitely need my Dr. Sagu time. So welcome, Dr. Sagu.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
How have you been doing?
Yeah, wonderful. After recovering from the COVID, and now started again the surgeries, and I think now we are getting the good flow of the patients. Even the backlog patients we are also operating, who were struggling for the weight loss, and having even contracted COVID-19 also because of obesity, and their journey with the COVID-19 was not so good so far with them. So that is why now they decided. The people who didn't decide to get the weight loss surgery done, now everybody is coming forward and taking this decision to get the surgery done.
Wow. So are there any good insights coming out of some of the findings for COVID treatments? Have they implemented that, and the testing, is that getting better?
Yeah, we are getting the testing done for each and every patient. Even for the surgeries also, we are getting all the tests negative, even the RT-PCR, antigen. We are getting the antibody, it should be positive. Then for obesity patients who are obese and BMI is on the higher side, we are getting the CT scan done for the lungs. So some patients are there whom RT-PCR is negative and antigen is negative, but they are having a finding on the CT scan. The lung condition is their lung conditions are not good on the CT scan. So on the basis of the CT scan also, so that's the combined sensitivity of all these tests, including RT-PCR, antigen, antibody, and now the CT scan of the chest, the sensitivity becomes 97%. So you should be very much sure that the patient does not have COVID-19 while we are going to perform surgery on them.
Oh, wow. So that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Now,
Yeah.
actually, Doctor, we spoke with some of your colleagues yesterday, and the subject we were dealing with the various usages of the drugs that are available and their relative effectiveness. Can you tell us from your experience, if you when you encounter a COVID positive patient, what kind of protocol do you guys follow with regard to the administration of drugs and things of that nature?
Yeah, very good question. Are you talking about the normal patients or are you talking about the patient pre-operative?
Okay, well, if you could walk us through both, just for our audience, because a number of us, including me, don't necessarily understand. And if you could just share your insights, I think that would be, I'm definitely interested. So either pre-COVID and then into COVID, and how you look at that, Doctor?
Yeah. Well, so first we are talking about the pre-COVID era, and you mean to say how I differentiate my patients pre-COVID era and now the COVID era. Is it right?
Yes.
I'll be coming back in 1 minute.
Okay.
He occasionally we have technical difficulties in the other countries, and
Well, he was thinking about if the question was with someone with a normal immune system versus someone with the comorbidities, such as he treats a lot of patients with obesity issues.
Oh, okay.
So that treatment is different from someone with a normal immune system. So I think he was going to go into that.
And when he recovered and he was going back to surgery to do surgery, they were, he explained how they but I would love that. This is a good question.
Yes, please.
Yes.
So Dr. Segu, say the person has a normal immune system without any comorbidity. Is there a separate treatment for them as opposed to someone with a comorbidity?
Yes, definitely. Definitely, there are the separate protocols for both the patients if you're talking about the normal patient, because the normal patient has a good immunity and the patient with the multiple comorbid condition, they have a different type of immunity, right? The first our test should be on the control of the disease. Doesn't matter if it's a diabetes, doesn't matter if it's a hypertension, obstructive sleep apnea. So whatever type of the disease the patient is having in the baseline, that has to be treated very nicely, and all these patients has to be kept as a high risk patients, because the category which we are talking about, the patients with the comorbid conditions, they are the high risk patients and they are more prone to be admitted in the intensive care unit. So we need to keep our intensive care unit bed ready for all those patients who are having different type of the disease along with.
If we can keep the good control of the disease, we can give the immunity boosters to them, the good exercise, the good breathing exercises. I think this is the only differentiation we can keep in these good populations.
I think the problem with the mic. I think you need to fix the mic.
Just
let me change my mic.
Okay.
Oh, you're sounding good now.
Yeah, you sound real good
Yeah.
now.
Is it okay now?
Yeah.
Hello?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Okay.
So let's take a person with a normal immune system without any comorbidities.
Yeah.
And we're talking about treating them with I'm sorry, Kim, help me.
Comorbid condition. Comorbid.
Yeah. So is that an effective treatment for someone in the early phases of COVID infection, assuming they have a normal? I'm talking to myself now.
No, you're talking to us. I'm sure he's listening.
Yeah. Okay.
But go ahead and finish your question so that we've got it.
Yeah, the hydrochlorine, I think is the way you say it, was being explained to us yesterday as effective early on in a normal immune system patient who has has been detected with early COVID.
Yes.
And it's not 3 days is what he said, yes. And so it's not effective for someone who's in the ICU already. So I was going to ask Dr. Segoo to explain that. And is there any other treatment for a person with a normal immune system, which is not me, but someone who has one in early detection? How would Dr. Segoo recommend treating that patient? And then we can move on to the people with the more critical problems and how you treat them differently, which you obviously have to.
Right.
I think Dr. Segoo would answer this question perfectly based on the medical ground, and he's back on the show.
Yep, he's back.
Yeah, I think the airport was not working, so now I think this the simple one would be working.
Okay. And it's very attractive, by the way, Dr. Segoo.
Yeah.
So Dr. Segoo, yes, Jim, go ahead.
So my question was, yesterday we were being told that a person with a normal immune system and early detection within the first 3 days could be treated with something like hydrochlorine and how they would respond to that. But a person later in the ICU already, it's not an effective treatment. So how would you treat someone, or how, based on your learning and your experience, how would someone with a normal immune system with early detection be treated? What would you recommend for them? And then we can move on to the person with comorbidities.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, Jim, if the patient is with the good immune system without any comorbid condition and detection is early maybe within 5 days, I don't think patients even need a hydroxychloroquine. The patient can be put on the supportive management and the patient can be treated at home. The patient can be put in under home quarantine, and with the exercise, with a good vitamin level, B1, B6, and B12, vitamin D, vitamin C. And if there is sore throat, then we give a 5-day course of antibiotics, that is azithromycin. I think that is more than enough for the patients with a good immune system and early detection and not a severe symptoms. But the patient with a comorbid condition, like with the patient with a comorbid condition in which the disease is under control, they can also be treated under the home quarantine, and I don't think we need a hydroxychloroquine. But we have to keep a watch on those type of the patients. But if the category number 3, the patient with a comorbid condition with uncontrolled disease, if the diabetes is not controlled, hypertension is not controlled, patient's obstructive sleep apnea is not controlled, and if patient's underlying disease is not controlled, then the patient has to be admitted to the hospital, and patient may require intensive care units. If that category 3 patient goes to intensive care units, then definitely patient can be helped by using the plasma therapy also. Patient can be given other antiviral therapy also. So antiviral therapy is only recommended in those patients who are having low immune system because they have a high viral load and high viremia. So when there is a high viremia and high viral load, then the specific therapy for the virus should be given to all those of the patient, and patient should be kept on positive pressure respiration also. It may be BiPAP, it may be CPAP, and if patient requires the ventilator, then patient should be given the ventilatory support as well. So this is the criteria, and this is the protocol for all 3 categories, category 1, 2, and 3.
Yes, thank you. What do you think about zinc? Because zinc was also mentioned As you
Yeah,
talk about
yeah.
vitamin B's. Go ahead.
Basically the role of the zinc is that you must have read about, even we discussed earlier, the portal of entry of the virus into the human cell is through ACE2 receptors, that is the angiotensin converting enzyme 2 receptors. So ACE2 receptors, they are present at the epithelial cell of the throat of the patient, so through which the virus enters into the cell, right? And hydroxychloroquine, the action of the hydroxychloroquine is at this level at ACE2 receptors. What the zinc does, zinc increase the capacity of the hydroxychloroquine to work on, right? To work on. That is the main function of the zinc. When we increase the quantity, or we want to make this hydroxychloroquine more effective for the patient.
Thank you. That's
Otherwise, zinc also works as an antioxidant also.
Right.
But the 100,
Right. So that was very helpful. That increases my understanding. How about you, Bill?
Yeah.
Yes, it absolutely does. Quite frankly, I'm just amazed. Between yesterday and today, well, on the one hand, it should be just self-evident how little I know of the whole thing. And Jim, I mean, you really are skillful in bringing out the information. Thank you so much.
Great job, Jim, and everything. One thing I was going to mention that one of our doctors mentioned as well yesterday was we had Dr. Arthur on, and Dr. Arthur had said that he was recovering from his colonoscopy. So I know that colon surgery is something that we all need to be concerned about and thinking about. We actually just lost a major Hollywood entertainer to colon cancer, that being Chadwick Boseman, one of the main characters of the Black Panther. So we just lost him. So Dr. Sagoo, I was wondering if you could talk to people about some of those things that are very much needed in society. I know that Dr. Arthur encouraged folks to go for their mammograms, the ladies that is, and their colonoscopies and things of that nature. So I was just wondering if you could speak to our audience globally about those important things that they should be going to check on a regular basis.
Yeah. Well, if we talk about the colon cancer, I mean, the chances are higher now, is going up because of the low roughage diet, low fiber diet which we are taking, and maybe high fat diet, high non-veg diet. Even that can also lead to the colon cancer. And one factor which is underlying this colon cancer is the constipation. If the patient is having constipation since so many years, then the patient can develop the colon cancer. Basically, the colon cancer is when there are changes in the epithelium of the colon, and these epithelium, it hypertrophied, it grows and grows and grows, and then become a size of the tumor. So this is a genetic tumor. If you have a history of the colon cancer in your family, then definitely you should be getting the colonoscopy done every 5 years. It was every 5 years, but now if you can get it done every 2 years, I think that is a good, so that we can detect early. Colon cancer is a cancer. If it is detected early, then we can give almost 100% cure. We cannot say 100%, but almost 100% cure we can give. The surgery is wonderful for this colon cancer. And if it is spread outside, if there are lymph nodes outside the colon, then it becomes stage 2 and stage 3. And if it goes to liver, then it becomes stage 4. Then definitely the survival rates goes down. And then we need to combine the surgery along with the chemotherapy. So idea is to spread the awareness regarding the CA colon, and to get the colonoscopy done in time. Screening is very important. Awareness is very important, so that we can catch this disease early, and we can treat it very nicely, and we can give the quality of life to the patient.
Okay, doctor, I have a question, because I'm really confused about this issue. From what I understand, which is limited, and that at least there is a difference in terms of when different people of different ethnic groups should get tested. So, for example, what I've heard is that I've heard people who were white, their testing should start when they were about 50. But people of African American descent, for example, should start their colon testing at around 45. Can you share with our audience, because we're a worldwide audience, if there are differences and when and what impact different ethnic and racial groups have on when they should get tested?
Yeah, ethnic differentiation is definitely there because of the ethnicity. Some ethnic group, they are more prone to have disease at an early stage, and some patients, some ethnic group, they prone to have the disease at the later stages. But if you have a family history, then it is definite that you should get the colonoscopy done, screening done as early as possible. Maybe there may be some difference of the diet as well, and maybe some difference of other things also, because if you take lot of non-veg, so what I know about the Americans, they have less fiber diet, and because of the less fiber diet, the sigmoid is on the length of the sigmoid is more, because they used to keep the food stuff inside the sigmoid, and the propulsion of the colon is less in cases of American people. So
okay.
if we can also increase the fiber diet, then evacuation would be early, and if the evacuation would be early, then definitely there would not be stay of that food stuff inside the colon, and the size of the sigmoid will also go down, and the chances of the carcinoma, the cancer of the colon would be also less. We Indian people, we have more roughage, more fiber diet, that we eat atta. Atta contains that strips of the wheat, and strips of the wheat if we are eating, then the evacuation is early. So that is why the size of the colon of the Asian people is small as compared to the size of the sigmoid colon of the American people.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And so, Mark, are you overdue?
Say what?
Are you overdue for your colonoscopy?
Oh, I'm probably overdue for a couple of surgeries that are needed to be, well, not surgeries, but a couple of examinations, because I'm one of those folks, like many of us, that are lazy when it comes to going to my medical professionals. So I definitely need to go see my doctor. I'm due for a physical, so I know that that's coming up soon. Of course, with COVID, a lot of folks have been putting off things. I know that even Kim mentioned that she had put off some things that she needed to do, but she went ahead and got it done. So I need to be like Kim and go ahead and get at least a very basic physical done. I knew that that's something that's due for me, as well as just general health care. So I'm thinking that I've been lazy on that for us. How about you, Jim?
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
We should not be lazy about the screening test, because these are the two tests. I mean, the colonoscopy and the mammography in the females. If you have a history of breast cancer in the family, if you have a history of the colon cancer in the family, we should not be lazy. We should not be delaying our colonoscopy as well as the mammography. So these two things can save many lives.
And it's, a few hours out of your day, and they're not asking you to do it every year. I mean, a lot of the testing I have to do is every year. And, and then there's a lot of things that I have to do that are on a monthly basis, and they're time consuming. But, again, like Jim said, an ounce of prevention, right? And Dr. Sagu is right. It's a test, and that can save your life. And at many places in this day and time, I know some of them can be very expensive, but if you look around, there are many clinics that offer like certain times of year, like mammograms. In the month of October, they offer mammograms for free. You just have to book ahead of time. So there, and Dr. Sagu, I think your wife, this is one of her passions as well, as preventive medicine in that area. So in preventing cancer, breast cancer in particular. So
I mean these days the technology has given us wonderful things. The technology and advancement in the science is so good. The last week I operated the cancer of the rectum. The cancer of the rectum, and earlier we used to make a colostomy on the abdomen here, on the stomach, and the patient passes motion from the stomach. And for that patient, I did a robotic surgery, and while doing the robotic surgery, I need not to make any colostomy here. We could save the normal passage of the patient, and patient is happy. So that was very wonderful that I got that patient in stage 2, and he is completely cured of cancer now with the normal passage of the motion that is natural. We did not to make a colostomy on the abdomen. Yeah.
Well, and
So,
that was because he did testing early, right?
yes, early. We could catch the disease early, and if you can catch the early disease early, so everything can be controlled. Everything can be controlled.
Well, Doctor, go ahead, Bill.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah.
I guess, Doctor, because right now we're reaching so many people. It seems to me that a barrier oftentimes to even going in is that people are unfamiliar with, medicine or doctors, and they are fundamentally scared. I mean, the closest example would be if you say to me, the dentist, I mean, I start, going nutty. But what would you say to our viewers, those that are apprehensive about actually going in and talking to a doctor? Because for many people, it's just a foreign experience, and it's the fear that is the initial barrier to getting in. Doctor?
Yeah, the most of the people, they are scared of going to the doctors, and if we know the specialty of the doctor, if we can meet up, so that is why here is the importance of the support group meetings. We usually hold or organize the support group meetings, and by the support group meetings, the patients can see the other patients. So I mean, this is not the doctors who are going to help the patients, but the patients, they are going to help the patients so that they can pass on the information, what are the symptoms, and how you go for the diagnostic, which physician is good for you, and what all things is going to be happening with you while surgery, after surgery. So if you can get this much of the confidence from the people who has undergone the same type of the procedure, I don't think there would be any fear factor, and then you would not be scared of anything. Then you can go to your physician and you can get your right treatment.
Dr. Segula, if I could jump in, could you just talk a little bit about the form of surgery that you do as well? Because I know we are a global audience. Obesity is a big problem around the globe, and it's not just a U.S. problem. So I just wondered if you could talk about the nature of the kind of surgery that you do, because I do know it deals with a lot with obesity,
Mark,
and I know that's a major problem.
Mark, before we get into that, I would like to follow up on what Bill was saying, because that was my question also about the fear, because I certainly had the fear of getting this done, but I have a neighbor who's a few years older than I am, and she has colon cancer history in her family, and she has her colonoscopy every year. And I'm thinking, well, if she can do it, I can do it. And it turns out that the preparation, which is what I was afraid of, it's not pleasant, but it's temporary. It goes
it's temporary.
Only a day. Temporary. It's temporary. So everybody, don't be afraid of it. You can do it. If I can do it, the coward that I am, you can do it.
Me too.
One another Jim, I would like to tell you the benefit of that preparation. You should take it that if you cleanse yourself from inside completely, if your stools become watery, I think you are shedding all the toxins. And if you get it done once in 6 months, I don't think, if you're not getting for the colonoscopy, at least you should clean from inside. So don't be scared of the preparation, because this cleaning is also very important.
Yes.
One of the things I noticed about the cleansing is how much water you drink during the process, which is something you should be doing every day. And what I notice is that a lot of people do not do this every day. And I ask myself, why am I not drinking as much water as I would if I were in the preparation for the cleansing and the colonoscopy? So these are just practices that we should get into anyway. Like you said, cleanse out the toxins and be everything. And you know what? Here's for those who are cowards. Okay, don't be a coward.
Yeah.
Good job.
Don't be a coward, folks. Get out there, be the lion, and
you can do it.
You can do it. And I think cleansing too is probably a good practice to get into to help prevent obesity as well. Right. Get into the practices of eating healthy, eating right, which helps prevent a lot of the other problems that we have. But, Mark, you had a question then as well, which was?
Basically, I was asking Dr. Segoo if he could talk to us a little bit about the prevalence, and you were actually alluding to it, the prevalence of obesity in the world society, and a little bit about his career and his job. So, like I said, I've met Dr. Segoo a few times, but we've got this global audience, so I just wanted him to talk a little bit about that prevalence that exists, not just here in the U.S., but I know the U.S. is a leader in that, unfortunately, but it also is a worldwide problem.
USA.
Nobody. Mark, this is the field where nobody wants to be behind. Now around 50%, I would like to say 45% of the adult population of the US is overweight, and obesity is around 35 to 40%. India is not far behind. It is 30 to 35%. So nobody wants to be behind, because everybody we are because of the urbanization, because of the lifestyle modification. I would not like to modification, lifestyle spoiling. Because of the lifestyle spoiling, we are having the obesity as a global factor. And this obesity, it's like a tree which is giving lots of fruits, and those fruits are not good. That fruits are like diabetes, like hypertension, obstructive sleep apnea, infertility, heart disease. So all these things the root cause is the obesity, and now each and every part of the globe is suffering from the obesity. So we need to tackle this obesity. I don't know how we can do it, how we can spread the awareness about the obesity, how we can stop all the multinational companies to advertise the bad food, how we can stop our children to get all this fast food, how we can, motivate our children to go for the sports, go for the physical activity. This is really a crisis. I would like to say this is a bigger epidemic than the COVID-19.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, Jim, did you want to go?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't hear you, Jim. You're mute.
Jim, how did you get muted?
I'm sorry that I did that because there's a mower going on. But I was just I thought this statement about the obesity being more powerful than COVID was a very powerful statement, and I was just beating my heart. I wasn't raising my hand. So Bill, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, doctor, I guess my question is, you had mentioned the diet, and I was intrigued because you said that more fiber in the diet. Can you describe for us kind of what we should be eating and how we should be approaching our diet, at least at the inception?
Yes. Well, diet it may be different from different person. It would be different for different person. It depends on the metabolism of the patient. Some people, they are consuming high calories, but with good metabolism, they are not putting up weight. Some patients, some people, they are eating very less, but bad metabolism, and they are putting weight. So it depends. It's a multifactorial thing. If you want to lose weight also, if you want to maintain your weight, at least you should be working on the different type of the factors. That includes your diet, that includes your exercise. I would like to movement. That depends on your sleep pattern, that depends on your stress pattern. So if we can consider all these factors, I think we can work over the obesity and we can fight with the obesity. If we talk about the diet has to be very healthy. Basically, there should be a balance. We cannot say that we should cut the carbs, we should cut the fat, we should increase the protein. That is not like that. We should be putting some balance. We can have a fruit, we can have a vegetables, we can have a seeds, we can have a nuts, we can have a legumes, we can have the whole grains, we can have a fish, we can have a chicken, we can have the eggs. So if we can balance between all these things, I think we can have a good diet. Carbohydrate, yes, there are two types of the carbohydrate which we talk about. There's a complex carbohydrate, the simple carbohydrate. We should be including the complex carbohydrate in the diet. We should not be taking the simple carbohydrate, because the glycemic index of the simple carbohydrate is on the higher side, and the simple carbohydrate, they are being digested very fast. So things which are digested very fast, they are absorbed very fast, that should not be eaten. Because
well, doctor, what kind of foods do you mean between the complex and the simple? So, like, what kind of foods are we actually talking about that are the high complex ones that you're suggesting that are?
Complex carbohydrate, like, I mean, you can find the complex carbohydrate in all type of all type of the fruits, vegetables. They are having the complex carbohydrate.
Okay.
Legumes, they do have a complex carbohydrate. All the sweeteners, all the processed juices, they are having a refined, the simple sugars that has not to be included in the diet, right? So we should be taking more complex as compared to the simple carbohydrate. Then we come to the fats. It is not mean that we should be cutting off the fat. We should be having the good fats and not the bad fats. Good fat is the monosaccharides and polysaccharides. We should be taking all those fats. They are good. When comes the protein, if you take 60 gram, it doesn't matter if you take a 40 gram, 50 gram, 60 gram, or 70 gram. You should be having the valuable amino acids in that diet, because there are total 23 amino acids. Out of that, around 8 amino acids that are essential amino acids which cannot be formed in the body. Rest of the 15, they can be formed in the body. So those 8 amino acids has to be taken in the diet. So here, if we say the quality of the amino acid should be present in your diet as compared to the quantity of the protein. If you take more protein, that is also not good, because all the excess of the extra protein will be stored as a fat, and that fat will deposit and will give you the obesity, right? So we have a capacity for the absorption of the protein. At one time, we can have only 9 to 12 gram of the protein absorption. The excess protein cannot be taken up by the body, and that would be converted into the fats, and then fats will give you the obesity. So everything we should be keeping in mind, that this much of the protein, this much of the fat, and this much of the carbohydrate should be there.
And Dr. Sagoo, you mentioned metabolism, and is it a fact that drinking water can increase your metabolism?
Yeah, lots of things, lots of activities are there which can boost the metabolism if we are working on the right way. Like the drinking of water, it's a good exercise to decrease the obesity and increase your metabolism. If we are taking, let me tell you the physiology behind taking the water. If we are taking the water, that is I'm talking about the plain water. If you take the plain water around 500 ml, yes, please take it. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it's a plain water. It's not a adulterated water, or it's not having any type of sugar or something else.
Nothing but basil leaf.
Yeah, basil leaf is good. So now, if we take 500 ml of the water at one time, what happens? It creates the thermogenesis. When we take water, it will cause thermogenesis to erupt in the body, because the normal plain water temperature is around 18 to 23 degrees centigrade. 18 to 23, right? We should not be taking the cold water. That this much of the temperature of the water is of the plain water. If we take 18 to 23 degrees centigrade of the temperature of the water, that water goes inside, because the body's temperature is high side, so it will cause a thermogenesis. Thermogenesis will create the energy, and that energy can be used, and that energy can also burn the fat also. So that is why we always say that we should be drinking water in the morning, so that there should be thermogenesis, and thermogenesis will increase the metabolism. And if our metabolism is on the higher side, then whatever we'll eat, that will be broken down, and that will be digested and absorbed well. So that is why we also advise to take water in the morning. Then we advise to take water at least 30 to 1 hour before taking before the meal, so that, because the thermogenesis, thermogenesis effect, it will remain there for 1 hour. So you drank water, and 1 hour thermogenesis would be there. It will give the energy, and the same energy we can use for the breakdown of the food which we eat. If we will eat the food after 1 hour, we will break the food very nicely. The energy we can use for the digestion of the food, and the energy we can use for the absorption of the food, right?
Yes.
So this is the physiology. So that is the way we can increase the metabolism by drinking water.
And
Plus,
Dr.
number
Sagu,
2 is, yeah.
Dr. Sagu, I used to drink cold water until you told me this. And so I want to thank you for that little piece of advice. And I also wanted to ask Sharif, if Malaysia does Malaysia have this obesity problem? Does it have colon cancer problems? Is this something that that you can talk to about your country's experience?
Yeah. Obesity is basically the pro-inflammatory state. So every disease, whether it is a colon cancer, whether it is a diabetes, whether it is any other condition or the breast cancer, they actually occur after the inflammation. So if you have an inflammatory state already going on in your body, right? So then, because what is the cancer? Cancer is the hypertrophy of the cell, hyperdivision of the cell. When the apoptosis of the cell stops, there is a natural phenomena that whenever there is a division of the cell in the body, the apoptosis is also occur at the same time. So apoptosis will kill those cells, right, and remove all those cells. In the cancer, the apoptosis is prevented. Apoptosis is not taking place, so that is why the apoptosis cannot kill those cells which has been hypertrophied. So then the cancer occurs. And to stop the apoptosis, what is the factor which is working against it? Is the inflammation. So whenever you have inflammation in the body, then the normal cells will divide more and the apoptosis will not occur. That will take, in the form of the cancer. So because of the obesity, we have lot of adipose tissue. We have two types of the adipose tissue. One is a brown adipose tissue. One is a white adipose tissue. White adipose tissue like a white bread. Brown adipose tissue like a brown bread is good, because the brown adipose tissue, it liberates energy to burn the white adipose tissue. And white adipose tissue is a bad adipose tissue, is a bad fat cells which have lot of ACE2 receptors, plus they have lot of inflammatory status. So the cytokines, they are increasing in the body because of these inflammatory markers, that is the interleukin 6 and TNF alpha. These are the cytokines, or we can say inflammatory markers. When they increase, they prevent the apoptosis, and at that time, all those cells, they take a form of cancer there. So that is why so that is why, in the obese people, few of the cancers, they are very common. One of them is the colon cancer. Another is the endometrial cancer, uterine cancer in the females. Another is the breast cancer. So all these cancers, they are more in the obese people or in the overweight people.
So high fiber diet, drink water. These are just
exercise, physical activities.
Yeah.
Okay.
High immune status.
I want to ask a question, and it's a basic question, and I apologize for dumbing down. But there's an old, at least in my mind, a debate between coffee and tea, and which one's better for you. And I would say, in this case, having listened, in the morning, coffee, tea, or water, which should our viewers, kind of as a simple thing, be focusing in on?
Go for it, Dr. Sagu. This is a good one.
It's
water.
One, Doc.
Water.
It's a water. Then you can have a green tea. Instead of taking coffee and the simple tea, we can have a green tea, because green tea has lot of antioxidants inside, and that can increase or boost the immunity.
But always drink water first when you wake up in the morning. I learned this from Dr. Sagu. It's made a difference in my digestive system. Kind of swish your mouth a little bit with water and swallow the, all of your fluids from your mouth.
Yeah, that is the alkaline saliva inside. If you swallow that saliva, the saliva will go inside. That will neutralize the acidity of your stomach. So then you will not feel any acidity problem.
It's a wow.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Difference. There's that, and there's, don't drink water during your dinner, kind of maybe a little bit before, maybe 30 minutes before, maybe 30 minutes after, but not not during your digestive system digests the food. And and I've learned so much from Dr. Segoo, and it has helped. Like just eating before dark has helped my stomach swelling go down, so my stomach doesn't swell anymore. So these just little things you don't think make a big difference, and they do. I mean, it's just
definitely all these things. If we can control the physiology of our body inside, because the medicine and the pills they are not going to cure you. They're not going to give you a good health. But if you can change your physiology of your body, if you can keep the physiology of your body nearby the nature, I don't think anybody can have a disease, any type of the disease, because every disease is erupting from when we are going away from the nature, when we are modifying the physiology of our body.
Well, and it makes a big difference too. I mean, such little practices, and again, I eat an apple every day. I love apples. I eat apples every day.
Yeah, and for Jim, if the same water we put some sugar or some add-on flavors inside, those, because the water is a solvent, so those ingredients which we add on inside the water, that usually hamper the absorption of the water.
Yes.
So
but
if
basil leaves are okay.
Basil leaves are okay. Even lemon is okay. Even honey is also okay. All three things, they are good. They cannot hamper the absorption. But any the processed water, we can say carbonated waters. All these waters, they are only the name as a water, but they will not be absorbed, and they will not give you the benefits that the water give you.
Right.
Oh, so carbonated water is worse than just regular water.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it doesn't help your body. It doesn't absorb. There's a high hydration index out there. You should go learn to read it. Milk has high levels of hydration index. Actually, beer has high hydration, but water, of course, has the most. Tea, coffee. But there's a hydration index, and but carbonated water doesn't have a good hydration index.
Wow, that's news to me.
Yeah, that's news to me. Because actually, I have one of those, home carbonate things. Seriously, it's KitchenAid. It's this little tower, and then you put the cylinder in the back, and then you have a bottle. Just regular water, you put it in, you pull the lever, and it carbonates it. And you're saying that what I'm doing in that process, I'm taking good water and turning it into bad water.
Yeah, and my kids have the same thing. I know the machine you're talking about. And we actually, I feel bad. We actually bought it for their birthday. And bought
so
we
can find all these type of the dispensers everywhere. I mean, after half a kilometer, you will find a dispenser. So you get the carbonated water from there and you drink, and you don't know that you are drinking the bad water.
You drink bad water. So
I'm writing it down.
And think about this: why not just drink what's pure from the earth, right? I mean, I'm blessed because our water comes out of the ground. We don't have city water, so I am very, very blessed. We've got very, very clean water. We get it tested and not, just to make sure it doesn't become contaminated. Because I don't trust builders around us, that they could contaminate the water tables.
But if you can get underground water, that is very good, definitely, because that water is rich in all the minerals. You are getting the natural minerals in that.
Right. I don't even like to filter it. My family filters, but I don't filter the water. I think I like the minerals that come in it because I think that's what's natural for our bodies. That's from nature. So
it's like you are plucking the fruits from the tree and you are eating.
Yeah, exactly.
Dr. Segoo, my father was half Vulcan. Now I'm mostly human, but I do have some Vulcan in me. So what is the logic behind the carbonation making it bad water?
There is a lot of carbon dioxide inside in the carbonated water. If you see that lot of bubbles, they are coming out, and that CO2, when it goes inside, it actually hampers the absorption of the water. And it can give you some bad acidity also.
Thank you.
And
Wow.
also it's more about toxins and I think chemicals what we are using and consuming and put it down the water, and then somehow we
Yeah.
are recycling the same water, and I think that could be a
Yeah.
cause of a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Dr. Sabu, we have realized that our river Ganga, it cleans himself automatically during the COVID period, because Earth and especially environment knows how to reboot and how to clean themselves, and that's an automatic clean because we have spent billions of dollars. But the time which is right now for Ganga, it's cleared. I mean, like deep down that. I mean, you can see what's there inside. I mean, it's very clear.
Oh, we can say because I mean I don't know whether it is automatically cleared or not, but yes, because of the lockdown, nobody is going there. We are not doing our normal activities because our habit is to spoil everything, right?
Yes.
So when the people are not out there, people are not going over there, then automatically, because the nature's nature is to clean everything, our nature is to spoil everything. So now the nature is working. I think because of that, the nature is cleaning everything.
Yes, it's fascinating
It's
to me.
wonderful.
And let me ask you this, because we've had some roofing done, or some solar panels installed on our roof, and it was warm, and so I brought 3 big bottles of carbonated water to the guys who were working on the roof. Now, did I do a bad thing or a good thing? Was that better than nothing? And was I making a mistake? Is what I'm asking.
If you would have been giving the plain water, that would have been better. Yeah. So I cannot say you are doing the bad thing, but the plain water would have been a good choice.
Yes. Changing my habits already.
Yeah.
Again.
I believe that we have to do a special show on water basically, because water is something which is consumed by people around the world, and how we can safe and secure and drink healthy water. That is also a good way of lifestyle, and I think we can do a separate series of shows on that.
On water we can on water we can have a good a big session on that, a separate session.
Yes.
Because the water is basically the base of our body. The water is everything for us. It releases toxins also. Yeah.
Yes, actually, I was just going to point out, and Kim, maybe in a few moments, a few comments you can tell us. You had a discussion, you and Nick had a discussion over water resources and how important it is to the planet on your show the other day. You want to share with the audience?
Oh yeah, so they are doing well. The problem is that majority of the water resources are not available for clean drinking, right? There's a lot of countries that don't have the clean drinking water. And we've got a gentleman, and he raises money, and that's what their purpose is to make good quality drinking water available, but also to become good stewards of our earth, right? And to make sure that we do this. So yes, it's very, very important, and I do believe that this is a complete show in itself. That maybe we can get that gentleman on, as well as Dr. Sagu, to talk about the not just healthy benefits of it from certain angles, but also how we can make it healthier for our body. Because I think that if you drink too much, too often, I think there's a balance that you have to drink throughout the day. So
yes.
There's all kinds of things that I think, but yes, the biggest problem is availability of water. Just like education, the availability of certain kinds of education to people. So, and like Jim mentioned, he put solar panels in on his house. Well, we've got a solar powered water generator that we have built so that we could take it to other countries or during evacuation times, because, during storms and things like that happen, a lot of the water gets damaged. And so this water has a purification system in it. Or this water device has a water purification system in it that pumps 3 gallons a minute, that's a lot. So, yeah, there's so much to do. Unfortunately, I think we got to wrap up now, and I hate wrapping up when we've got such a great. But Dr. Sagu beams in. But Dr. Sagu, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I think Bill learned a lot. I can see him writing notes.
Take a look.
Yeah.
I mean, it's smart television.
I have to become a healthier person because of our take a break with Dr. Sagu moments, because there were a lot of things I didn't realize I thought I was doing right, and realized if I just adjusted a little bit, then it's right. And that's what's important. But Ankit, you want to wrap for us?
Yeah, so it's time to wrap, and thank you for joining us on our Spiritual Saturday. And it was a great discussion with Dr. Sagu, as always, on Talk Show with Dr. Sagu, which starts at Saturday, 8:30 p.m. IST, 11 a.m. EST, and 8 a.m. PST onwards. And after that, we are doing a show, Funk from the Front Seat, with Zach Robertson, followed by Plant a Good Seed with Oakley. And then we have our World Chess Championship today on Chess Stars with Sasha Star, followed by a DJ Night show on IBM TV. And do join us tomorrow for Sunday with great shows as always. And thank you for joining us. It's time to wrap. And
thank you so much.
Soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What?
Oh, I know. I love the music.